Good evening and welcome to Mountainers. I'm Aeson Knight, and of course, I'm sitting down with Cubby with Moses. Techy Joe, how are you, honey?
I'm doing well. How are you this evening?
Pretty good, pretty good. Kind of all over the place, but that's good.
Okay.
Um, and it's just because of like a lot of this news is so fucking crazy that we're seeing and reading and hearing, and it's like, what? What are we talking about here? And then you let and then like the commercial that go out are just like so backwards, so backwards.
Okay.
You know, especially like one of the big things making news here, and apparently around the world. Although we do have a global economy, you small-minded West Virginians, is like a lot of coal mines are shutting down.
There's a lot of
Idling going on, and it's kind of large. And when I mean large, it's even larger than what it should be. And what I mean by that is that well, we got a story here because this morning I'm listening to the morning news, and it's a whole conversation, about that it's fallen. It's like 3.75 per ton, and mine after mine after mine, 300 mine jobs, 400 mine jobs gone idling, closing. They're going bankrupt again because I don't know. It's a 5 year or a 7 year, and they just do that to get rid of pensions and all this fun stuff. And then I come home and I'm reading Redditor, and well, it's reading itself to me. And China's telling people, "Do you just please buy more coal? Like, even though you don't need it, please go ahead and buy it."
Yeah. Yeah. So that is from Reuters. Facing sinking coal demand, China asks power plants to just buy more. Sources say. Legitimate headline. It's kind of crazy. So China is pressing its coal-fired power plants to stockpile more of the fuel and import less in an effort to shore up domestic prices, sources with knowledge of the matter said. But traders are skeptical the measures will help to stop the slide. The coal industry in China faces rising stockpiles of the fuel after a massive expansion of output following shortages and blackouts in 2021. And is churning out more coal than even the world's largest thermal power fleet can consume. To support miners whose profits are under pressure, the state planner has asked power plants to prioritize domestic coal and increase thermal coal stockpiles by 10%, setting an overall target of 215 million metric tons by June 10th, the sources said. The sources spoke on condition of anonymity because they were not authorized to speak to the media. However, with inventories piling up along the supply chain, two of the sources, both coal traders, said the guidelines would be unlikely to spur much buying or support prices. The powerful state planner, the National Development and Reform Commission, did not immediately respond to a facsimile request for comment. Mine stockpiles are up 42% from a year ago, while northern Bohai area port inventories are up 25% annually, the state-run China Energy Daily has said. Buyers are also being asked to procure coal from northern ports to chip away at high port stockpiles, three of the sources said. The NDRC's moves follow months of calls from industry groups and companies to curb coal imports and output. Chinese coal prices have marched steadily downwards, however. Prices for medium-grade coal with a heat value of 5,500 kilocalories per kilogram stood at 620 yen, $86 per metric ton on Tuesday, the lowest since March 2021. Prices have fallen so far that some buyers have tried to wiggle out of long-term contracts in favor of spot sales. So, yeah.
Yeah.
So China imported a record 542.7 million tons of coal in 2024, but the total is expected to fall this year. Coal imports slid 16% in April of the year.
Mhm.
So, but
And this has been reported in not only China, but our other major exporter, India.
Well, very cool.
Yeah. And so they've got enough. Like, they have bought all the coal they need right now.
Yeah. Well, and some of it is this idea that especially like for China, they're just like, stop importing, we'll just stockpile.
Yeah.
Like, keep running the mines, don't idle the mines. That's a problem. But
Right.
we'll just pile it up. It'll be okay. We'll sell it later.
Right.
And it's kind of hard to convince companies to keep doing something that really is not in their interest.
Right.
Like, it makes more sense to slow your production. It makes more sense to lay off people.
Mhm.
Like, functionally for the mine. Like, I get it. I think it sucks, but I get it. If you don't have a market to sell this to,
Right.
why would you keep producing?
Exactly. And see, the power plants there are the ones that normally buy it. And they are full up. Their stocks are full. They have their silos of coal is full.
Mm-hmm.
And China's telling the power plants, oh, just keep buying it. Just stockpile it.
Well, but it's the way it is that way with a lot of things that are functionally harder to figure out. Because like we've had a conversation in a recent show about like, well, it makes no sense to pay farmers to not grow crops, and it's like, this is exactly why it makes sense to pay farmers to not grow crops, because there comes a point where, okay, that's cute, we fed the hungry, and now we just have crap tons of crops left over, and we're pulling the price of those crops down to the point that no one can afford to keep growing.
Right.
And that's
I get that and understand that.
Here. Oh, okay.
Right. I get and understand that, but at the same time, I'm looking at other countries and they can't get food from America, and because there isn't enough food. Like, I don't know, Africa, we can definitely outport to Africa. We can definitely outport to other countries. Like, it makes no sense not to grow food right now when most of our stockade of food is down by 4%, by 4 years quality.
Well, but there's also the fact that when we're looking at other countries and supporting them with food, that actually becomes not just a choice that one makes.
Right.
That becomes a governmental choice. And are we going to do that? And sometimes a bill gets through and it does that, and that's great. We fed the world. Sometimes not so much, and it doesn't have to do with we didn't want to feed the world. Like, that's almost never the issue, although in the last 6 months that may have changed. Because I don't know, fuck the little
Oompa Loompa,
revolving theme. But no, I mean, just saying, it's how it feels. But no, it's normally not the case that we're trying to not help people. It's that we are, like, some of these bills get attached to things that it's like, you really don't want the thing it's attached to.
Right,
like,
and that's half the problem.
That it feeds people.
Right.
And that's a good reason to vote for it, but it's not the only reason, and the rest of the bill is like pure garbage.
Right. For those who are wondering, Gizmo's driving me half crazy today. He thinks that he's a poodle, and he isn't. So if you see me knocking him down because he wants to climb on me and scratch me, then I'm going to have to do that. But, I just find it interesting that we have Friends of Coal running a political commercial in between the news segments talking about how Oompa Loompa is a friend of coal, but he's raising taros, and there's too much coal in the market right now. All right, I'll be right back as I go get a dog.
All righty. So yeah, there have been those news stories that we are, well, and those ads, more importantly. And it's kind of the running farce of our current president being a friend of anyone, let alone coal. And that's just a harsh reality. Is quite frankly, he friend of a coal baron, maybe friend of companies that make money off of coal. The actual miners, not so much. Nor any other actual normal, average working human being. Not really a fan. Not really caring. But the millionaires and billionaires that come out of these industries, huge.
Right.
Well, not friend. Friend is a little bit of an overstatement. More like benefactor,
Yes.
or benefacted by,
Exactly.
through campaign donations and questionable dealings and free planes.
Exactly.
If you like free planes.
Well, free planes, free trips, and free trips to, I don't know, someone's private island.
Okay.
But anyhow. All right. We may talk about that in a minute. Let's move on to our next story.
Okay.
Verizon quietly making bold moves to keep customers from fleeing.
Yeah, so Verizon quietly makes bold move to keep customers from fleeing. Many consumers across the country are sick of high prices, especially when it comes to their cell phone bills. According to a report from Doxo last year, Americans spent an average of $1,365 a year on cell phone services in 2024, 2% higher than what they spent on average the year before. Traditional phone carriers such as Verizon, T-Mobile, and AT&T have recently either cut discounts or increased prices. As consumers battle inflation and a higher cost of living, many are starting to jump ship from these companies and seek cheaper options. Cable companies have increasingly been offering consumers or customers bundle options on TV, mobile, and internet, which allow them to save money on these services. This has increasingly become a major threat to phone carriers. I don't see how, though. Can we stop for a second? No, it's not. It's not. It's not a threat to any of those three carriers. The cable provider services are MVNOs.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what they run on? Verizon, AT&T. It's
T-Mobile.
companies.
Yes, but they don't get paid the same.
They don't, but it's not the end of the world. It's like any which way you go, it's still Ma Bell. You know what I mean? It's like no matter what you do, how you want to brand it, you're ultimately dealing with one of the three.
Right.
Like it's dumb. All right. So a recent report from Moffett Nathanson indicates that Spectrum, Comcast, and Altus USA have added 886,000 new phone customers during the first 3 months of 2025, up from the 804,000 they added during the same time period last year. Amid this growing trend, Verizon is stepping up its game to keep customers from fleeing, especially after it traced a net loss of 289,000 total postpaid phone customers during the first quarter of 2025, its worst result on record, according to analysts at New Street Research. Recent posts on Reddit reveal the phone carrier is quietly contacting select customers to offer them a new phone line on its unlimited welcome plan. According to a message customers received, the line will be free for 36 months via monthly account credits. However, customers will be responsible for paying for taxes and fees, which are around $6 to $10 per month. Also, this offer is only eligible for customers who bring their own device, so customers won't be able to finance a new phone while the free line offer is active. The free line also offers customers 5G data with no hotspot access. After 36 months, customers will pay the standard rate of $55 per month for the phone line. There's also no contract attached to the offer, meaning customers can cancel anytime. Verizon did not immediately respond to the Street's request for comment. So the move from Verizon comes after it recently made several bold changes to attract and retain customers. Earlier this week, it touted its increased reliance on artificial intelligence to improve the customer service experience. Why do I feel like their AI came up with this plan? All right,
I think it did.
the company is now using Google Cloud's AI to ensure full resolution of any issues customers may bring to its customer service team. The technology will help keep the customer updated through the My Verizon app, text messages, or callbacks. Verizon also extended its customer service hours. Customers will now be able to speak with a live agent 24/7 and access 24/7 live chat support. In a recent interview with CNET, Verizon Consumer Group CEO Sampath, and I hope I did not butcher your name, said the company's increased investment in AI is a response to consumer frustrations with having to contact customer service multiple times to resolve issues. I get a lot of emails from customers every day, and they're not pretty, said Sampath. In addition to improving customer service operations, Verizon has also been offering customers $20 Amazon gift cards through its My Access platform, which is basically a T-Mobile Tuesdays rival. All right. Fun.
Fun, but would you switch?
No.
I won't touch Verizon.
No, not Verizon.
No.
I mean, I would consider Verizon before T-Mobile personally, and that's totally personal.
See, that's not even my order.
Okay.
My order is AT&T. Then we'll go to Cell One or whatever, US Cellular.
Yeah.
Then I'd go to Verizon Prepay. Then I would go to T-Mobile. Like T-Mobile's the last one I would ever touch in this state.
Okay. Yeah,
and I'd probably call the cable company to have a house phone for them.
T-Mobile and the fact that it just doesn't work well in West Virginia.
No.
Like, we're sorry you bought your way in and you didn't buy a whole lot when you came in.
No. You bought rusty cans.
Yeah.
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 But no, what do you like? I cannot believe they're worried over a company that's paying them to provide cellular service.
I mean, fundamentally, that's how it works out to you. I think it's the knowledge that as customers move away from, and honestly, it's not even about the service; it's about the phones.
Yeah.
Like, it really is at this point all about the phones and getting consumers to buy flagship products every 2 years or 3 years and keep that constant revolving credit use in which they're financing the phone, they're paying all the finance charges, paying for it for basically until it's paid off or near enough, and then immediately buying the next phone. Right. That's really where their profit lies. It's not even the service anymore. No one cares about the service. They all have the same service. It's fundamentally the same service. The price differentiates a little, but ultimately, it's the same thing. The biggest difference on service is where you're at and which provider has a stronger footprint in that area. Some work better than others in different places.
Exactly.
Like, I don't care how much they want to keep going more bars and more places or whatever their particular motto wants to be. Some services work better in some places than
others.
Like, I'm sorry, T-Mobile, you tried. It's kind of garbage though. Like, AT&T or Verizon, you're doing okay. T-Mobile,
good luck. Happy trails with T-Mobile. You know, you're annoying, and you're a Christian-based company that implies and censors your phone services by your religious views.
Oh, well.
Yeah.
Alrighty.
Alrighty. So with that, we've got some radio signals.
Yes. All right. So yeah, this is even from the debris. So a mysterious radio signal from space was traced to an unexpected source, and it's something within our own galaxy. A mysterious radio signal astronomers initially interpreted to be a high-speed radio burst from deep space has been revealed to be something else entirely, and it's right in our own cosmic backyard. The discovery was made on June 13th, 2024, when researchers using the Australian Square Kilometre Array Pathfinder, ASKAP, radio telescope in Western Australia spotted something unusual, what appeared to be a very brief but extremely powerful radio signal. Similar to what astronomers call fast radio bursts, which originate billions of light years away from Earth, this signal was different, lacking the normal frequency dispersion of other FRBs. This was odd since it appeared to suggest that the source, whatever it was, had been located within our own galaxy. Now, after a year of investigation, astronomers say they have finally solved the perplexing mystery, tracing the anomalous signals back to an unexpected source, a forgotten relic from the Cold War era. Although the ASKAP team had been searching into rare fleeting signals believed to be the hallmark of extremely distant high radio cosmic events, the anomalous flash detected by the Murchison Radio Astronomy Observatory in remote Western Australia was so brief that it lasted a minuscule 30 nanoseconds, far shorter than any previously recorded FRB. Of particular interest to the astronomers had been that the signal showed none of the telltale signs of dispersion between lower and higher frequencies, which are normally associated with FRBs that travel through intergalactic space. If not an FRB, though, what could the mysterious source have been? Although initially perplexed by their discovery, this research team took a second look at their data, which revealed that the signal had blurred in ASKAP's radio image. This was a crucial observation, as it seemed to indicate that the source was extremely close, perhaps just 4,500 kilometers away. This also seemed to point to a source that wasn't astronomical at all, leaving open the tantalizing possibility that an object within our galaxy, perhaps even a spacecraft, could be the source of the anomalous emission. Soon the research team narrowed down the potential candidates to one likely source, Relay 2, a satellite launched in 1964, which, after having been operational for a short time, has remained inactive since the mid-60s. Over time, there have been a few instances where the defunct satellites have been known to emit signals after reactivating, garnering the nickname zombie satellites. Curiously, Relay 2 was not one of these spacecraft, and in fact would never have even been capable of producing a nanosecond burst, even when the satellite was functional decades ago. Amid a range of potential explanations, the team explored the possibility of an electrostatic charge that may have built up on the exterior of the satellite over time, which was suddenly released in the form of a burst of detectable radio waves. Although this has been known to occur, the relatively close discharge of radio waves, if this scenario had been the case, would have lasted far longer than the signal they observed. The team also explored the possibility of a micrometeoroid impact, but determined the likelihood of such an event giving rise to the odd signal would be close to just 1%. Ultimately, we can't be certain why we saw this signal from Relay 2, said Clancy James, a senior lecturer in astronomy and astroparticle physics at Curtin University, who is involved with the unusual detection. What we do know, however, is how to see more of them, James said in a recent piece that appeared at The Conversation. When looking at 13.8 millisecond timescales, the equivalent of keeping the camera shutter open for longer, this signal was washed out and barely detectable, even to a powerful radio telescope such as ASKAP. While a few questions remain about the exact cause of the anomalous emission, apparently detected from Relay 2, the team's discovery reveals the potential for using ground-based radio antennas for monitoring satellites, as well as the unexpected discharges they may produce. Such monitoring with time may even prove crucial for protecting our own growing space infrastructure from damage caused by electrostatic events in space or micrometeoroid impacts. Ah, very cool.
Yeah, and this was basically space garbage turned into there it is, let me just send out this one last burst, and it's like, shouldn't it still be doing that?
I mean, it depends.
Right.
Some of the stuff built in the 60s, I mean, it's probably long since dead battery.
Right.
Long since dead battery. Even if it weren't long since dead battery, it would most likely be some very ancient equipment.
Mm-hmm.
That there's some debate whether it would even be functional or should even be functional.
Right.
As in the way it was manufactured, what it's made out of, how it was put together,
right.
equipment involved. Like none of it was like, these were very unique initial use cases. Like you didn't go to Radio Shack and buy this.
Why not? We could buy it at Radio Shack and build it in the backyard and blow it up into the sky and watch it explode.
No,
just no. But I just find it really interesting that every time they think they've found intelligent life, and yes, I believe there's aliens, it's like a one-time incident, and it's actually some piece of trash way thrown out. And then I have to go, okay, did someone find that, charge it up, and go, oh God, this is ancient. Why the hell are we dealing with this crap?
You never know.
Yeah, or we may find out in 20 years.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah. All right. So, it's been 10 years since today, since we were allowed to marry. And no, we've not blocked you. We just haven't gotten to your question yet. We have a show. I answer questions in the second half of the show. What have you seen changed in 10 years?
Oh, as far as sorry, no, I see it. Is it bad if I say I don't think a whole lot?
No, I don't think a whole lot either.
For a lot of people, it just turned what they were gonna do anyway, or what they were already doing anyway, into a thing they could legitimately do and legally protected do.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, I don't think it changed anything. I think that's the misnomer of the whole concept of gay marriage across the board.
Right.
Is I've never seen it change someone.
Right.
I mean, I think it just moves them, and I don't mean that disrespectfully, like it means nothing. That's not what I mean. Right. It means stuff. I'm just saying, as for what did it change? It made it a little easier to do. You didn't have to go to a lawyer and fight through multiple different states' versions and interpretations of legal code to try to create an on-paper equivalency, or turn we went to Massachusetts, we went to California, we went to wherever.
Right.
We're legally married on paper, but then we're not in the eyes of the federal government, and our local state doesn't recognize it. Okay, now the federal government recognizes it, but our state requires our filing status to match our federal status, but the state still doesn't recognize it. So what do we do?
Right.
If you want to talk about anything it fixed, it has more to do with some of the wonkier, like, what the hell, of what are you supposed to do if you're married? If you live in one state, you go to another state to get married, and now the federal government isn't sure what to tell you to do because the state you live in doesn't recognize one thing, the federal government does, but the state you live in doesn't let you have a difference between the two.
Right.
So good luck. Now you need an accountant.
Right.
Just to navigate whether or not you're married for your taxes.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. Literally, there were people. The only reason they needed an accountant to do their taxes was to navigate the nightmare of where are we legally married and not, and how do we file this shit?
Yeah. And, who gets which adult dependent and who gets to be an adult dependent. Now, the advocates reporting that, there's a bipartisan bill to fix some tax returns. $56 million of tax returns.
Well, yeah. Well, let's get there in a second. So, yeah, it's a bipartisan effort looks to rectify tax inequities for same-sex married couples. Legislation introduced by U.S. Senators Elizabeth Warren and Susan Collins could help queer married couples get back a total of $55 million in tax refunds. It's just one bill in a new package of similar pieces of legislation. So a bipartisan group of lawmakers has introduced legislation helping bring financial equality to same-sex married couples. Democratic Senator Elizabeth Warren of Massachusetts and Republican Senator Susan Collins of Maine reintroduced the Refund Equality Act on Thursday, the 10-year anniversary of the landmark Obergefell v. Hodges Supreme Court ruling, which legalized marriage equality as a constitutional right. So the act would allow married same-sex couples to amend tax returns dating back to when they were married, which would help them secure about $55 million in refunds, according to a 2021 report by the Joint Committee on Taxation and cited by the senators. The reintroduction bill would allow same-sex couples who are married in jurisdictions that recognize same-sex marriage before 2013, including Massachusetts, Connecticut, California, Iowa, New Hampshire, Vermont, and Washington, D.C., to file for income tax adjustments for those years back to the date of their marriage. Create exceptions for two tax code limitations, one that gives married couples 3 years to begin filing jointly after their most recent separate returns, and another which requires a claim for tax credits or refunds to be filed within 3 years of the initial return. And create exemptions that include adjustments to capital loss carryback and adjustments for retired service members who receive an award of disability compensation. If that sentence isn't a frickin' mouthful.
Mm-hmm.
So that was introduced alongside Democratic Oregon Senator Ron Wyden's Equal Dignity for Married Taxpayers Act, which Senator Warren co-sponsors. That legislation would protect LGBTQ plus Americans from inequality and discrimination by removing gender-specific references to marriage in the tax code. So, yeah. A lot of things going on.
Yeah, but I'm thinking that's just 10 years. And they're looking at now 20 years worth of taxes. Who has that many years of tax records? But anyhow.
You're supposed to.
I know. $56 million the government got to keep off of 13 counties.
13 states.
13 states. What if they just get rid of the whole marriage thing? All of it.
Okay. As in increase so increase everyone's taxes, get rid of marriage. At least as far as taxes.
No.
And then we're all equal.
Well, yes. Or me and you could file taxes together.
Okay.
We have a shared address. We've had a shared address for more than a year. We could file taxes jointly.
Oh, there you go.
and get the same benefit.
I think it begins to bring into the idea of the line between a marriage relationship and like this oopsie daisy common law marriage, where someone isn't like, it's not what it is. It's not what it is.
Right.
But there might be benefits to it, but then there may be major drawbacks. In which I think the government's going to get a little wonky on that. But no, I would be a little more towards just like, if you really want to like hate the gays, hate the gay marriage, like if you really truly did, I find it interesting. I've never heard not one person say, let's just get rid of marriage.
Right.
Like, just throw it out of the taxes. Like, I mean, keep your marriage right. That's cool. But take it out of the taxes. Forget this filing jointly, head of household. No, you're one individual taxpayer. You file one return. That's it. There's no single filing, whatever. Married filing jointly, married filing separately. Like, you don't have to worry about that. You're one taxpayer. You file one, and you're done.
Right.
Forget all of it. You don't even have to tell us if you're married.
Right.
We don't care. We just need your name and social security number. That's it. File your taxes. Yeah. That's it. You're done.
Yeah.
Like, don't even worry about it. I didn't hear one person say that.
I would love to be able to file one tax return in this house. One.
Well, yeah, because of course you got business return and the
Yeah, I would like to file one for all three people. One tax return. Here's the address. Here's the organizational creation. Here's what these 15, 16, 17, 18, 19 companies produced. Here's what the 19 companies paid in. Here's what we got to pay.
Right.
Would love that in a heartbeat. Instead, it's fucking mad scientists back here and then figuring out who paid for what and what is an exclusively of your business, an exclusive of my business, an exclusive of the W-2 earner. It's insane.
Well, I mean, at the end of the day, it's not entirely insane. I mean, most of it makes fairly straightforward sense. Like, it's fairly straightforward.
It's fairly straightforward, but, we have to, sometimes resort to vodka. And the last time we tried to hire an accountant to deal with my business, the poor woman went mad. And retired, but she left the tax code.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. But no, I mean, yes, the tax code is crazy. I find it interesting though. No one said let's take marriage right on out of it.
Yeah.
No one suggested that.
Right.
Like, not even in the 10-year since, no one has suggested it. Let's take marriage out of taxes and just be like, I'm done.
Yeah.
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 I find it interesting. Like, it's weird. It's like you get certain benefits.
You did.
By being married. And no one really wants to talk about that.
Yeah.
Like, we get a lot of God and Jesus talk. No one talks about, I just really don't want you to have the benefits of marriage.
Right.
The financial benefits of marriage. Interesting.
Right. The ability to claim all your, all a non-working spouse's expenses. And, as a dependent credit.
Okay.
Or, the tax credits. That would be lovely to get a tough freaking family tax credit.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So, the earned income tax credit goes up. The child independent tax credit goes up. The American Opportunities Tax Credit, that would be cute. Lifetime learning credit. could you imagine? Because like half the time I can't use my re-education on my taxes as a write-off. Using it on our taxes?
Could be interesting. Could be interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Like, yeah, there's a host of benefits to marital tax status.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there's some reasons why you don't want to be married filing separately.
No.
So some of those are very legitimate too. It really can depend a lot on what is your income basis. Right. Is what I always understood from it. Is basically married filing jointly, you get all the benefits. Right. Of like earned income tax credit. It's great if you're a W-2 wage earner, is what I've always understood of it. Mm-hmm. But once you own your own business, mm-hmm. Nope. You want to be married filing separately. Right. Because that keeps the assets separate, or at least in a thought and theory version. Right. Of what is you and your business and what is your spouse. Right. And perhaps their business. Mm-hmm. So that the two don't really, so to speak, share anything, even though they may be operating out of the same. Right. Yeah. Yeah. Because for some of those little corporate setups, you're a hop, skip, and a jump from like your business and your business problem becomes your spouse's business and their business problem. Mm-hmm. And that can be eek. Yeah. Especially if the situation's bad enough. Right. Like, and it doesn't take much. I'm not talking like you do anything technically illegal. I'm talking about you wreck a truck. Mm-hmm. You tear up someone's front yard. Mm-hmm. You would be amazed how fast that gets expensive. Oh, yeah. Insanely expensive.
And quickly. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And then, it comes to this complex understanding of really basic economics, that I've had to explain to people over and over again. If no one pays one part of the cycle, it messes the whole cycle up.
What now?
How economics can easily get screwed up because it's a total cycle. Like China right now is just trying to get people to buy the coal to keep the mines open, to keep paying the miners, and to also keep it domestic instead of buying cheaper, outside importable coal. But if like one of those power plants don't pay that mine, then it trickles down. And then
that's the weird part about trickle down economics. It never works for the positive, but by God, it will bite you in the ass and keep biting all the way down. Yep. I've never seen it work for trickle down economic boom. Right. But I have seen it work very well for trickle-down economic bust. Right. Like, it just never seems to correlate on the boom side. But now you start sending problems, they roll downhill.
They do. If a company doesn't pay its workers or overpays its workers, that goes right on down the box line.
Mm-hmm. But all of your employees will turn around and take their lovely excess money and go buy more stuff. Yeah. Live the better life. At least up to a certain income level. Mm-hmm. Like there's a certain income level that like you don't need anything else. Right. Like, and hence you start heavily like putting money in the bank, putting money in investments. Like you're how many pairs of jeans can you buy? Right. How many do you need? Right. Like there's a limit. But when we're looking at like our current economic situation, almost globally or a large chunk of the globe, fundamentally you have a lot of people with a lot of unmet needs, not just wants. I'm sure everyone wants a cell phone. Everyone wants an iPhone. Everyone wants, whatever. I'm talking base needs are often missing. So any extra dollars are immediately spent.
Right.
Because you're covering needs. It's the fallacy of you're going to get, $20 hamburgers if you pay employees 15, or if you move minimum wage to $15, $20 an hour.
Right.
And it's like, that's not how that works.
Right.
It's like, that's you're not getting it. It's part of a whole loop. Like, you're looking at one little point and going, well, if we raise their wages, no one else's.
Right.
No one else's. You just have people sitting there cranking out the same hamburgers to people who still can't afford to buy them.
Right.
Then, yeah, that's exactly what would happen. You would have a hamburger that now costs $15 to $20 to make. Because you have a crew of people, and you weren't selling them, and now you're still not selling. But now you're not selling them, and it costs you more. But if you're across the board raising them, and you have more people with more income that can go towards, you sell more hamburgers.
Yeah.
Stop fighting over your own stupid payroll. You're hurting yourself over the long term.
Right.
But it's crazy to me.
And it's continuing to, it's insane that they think that money does not expandable. Okay. If you pay people more, they're going to spend more. It's a guarantee. Right now, this country has the lowest savings in the planet.
I mean, granted, there's the old joke at like events you go to and stuff, is that it's the same $20.
Right.
Is that you have a vendor that you show up, someone pays them $20, they turn around, they go spend that $20 on another vendor. That vendor goes and buys $20 worth of food. And it's, so to speak, the running joke is you're just passing the same 20 all day long.
Right.
Which there's truth to it.
There's a lot of truth to it.
There are those moments. But at the end of the day, it actually does. It's not the only $20 anyone makes.
Right.
Like, if it is the only $20 that anyone makes, that's bad.
That's about it.
That's really upsetting for any vendor there. But there are sometimes that moment that you watch, and it's like one $20 spurs another $20 and another 20 and another 20.
Right.
And it bounces.
Right.
But that is the reality of like small economies, local economy spending, is that, if you send it up to the mothership of corporate Apple, guess where where like 99% of that $20 bill is going to stay? In the corporate mothership of Apple. That's it. That's as far as it goes. It doesn't go anywhere else. It's not moving.
Right.
You spend $20 locally, that usually turns around and has some really big impacts. So again, shop local, please. Like,
yes,
there's so many people that have said it's so much better. And have gone on at length as to what your local $20 does versus your $20 mega corporation. Or $20 to a mega.
Right.
Like, it just ultimately makes more sense.
Right. Ooh, so Vietnam has ended 8 death penalties. Darn it, even they're getting soft. All right, here we go. We'll dig into this, and then we'll go to Are You an Asshole?
All right.
There we go.
So Vietnam ends death penalty for 8 crimes, may spare real estate tycoon. Vietnam has lifted the death penalty for 8 crimes and legal reforms that may spare the life of a real estate tycoon imprisoned in the country's largest financial fraud case. The legal reforms in Vietnam ended the death penalty for 8 crimes, including trying to overthrow the government, damaging state infrastructure, making and selling fake medicine, starting wars, spying, drug trafficking, embezzlement, and taking bribes. Vietnamese lawmakers passed the reforms on Wednesday, according to state media. Trong My Lan, sentenced to death for her involvement in Vietnam's largest financial fraud case, will be eligible to have her sentence reduced after the reforms, her lawyer said Thursday. The 67-year-old chair of the real estate company Van Phen Phat, who was facing execution for her involvement in fraud amounting to $12.5 billion, nearly 3% of the country's 2022 GDP, will now be eligible for the exemption for the death penalty, according to the new rules, her lawyer Phan Minh Hong told the Associated Press. We are still waiting for the official instructions of implementing the law amendment for next steps in her case, Wong said. The new rules also say that anyone already sentenced to death for these crimes, but not yet executed by July 1st, will have their sentence changed to life in prison after a final decision by Vietnam's highest court. After the legal changes, the maximum punishment for Lan's crimes will be life imprisonment without parole. Wong said that they were continuing to work on repaying the damages to get her sentence further reduced. The law change will likely impact other ongoing trials, such as the one that started earlier this week involving the real estate and infrastructure development company of Phu Sun Group, whose chairman, Nguyen Van Hoa, is accused of paying over $5 million in bribes to win contracts for major infrastructure projects across 3 provinces. Following the change, Vietnam now has the death penalty for 10 crimes like murder, sexual abuse of children, treason, and terrorism. So, yeah.
Yeah, so they're softening on the death penalty because they used to use it for everything. Got a speeding ticket? Kill you.
No, it was not speeding ticket death.
Oh, yeah.
It was not speeding ticket death.
You can be put into jail in Singapore for chewing gum and dropping it on the street.
Well, yeah, but that's Singapore.
Yeah, cleanest streets in ever.
Oh, that's. I mean, but is it worth it?
Depending on the gum, yes.
Just saying.
I know. If we could get, start writing tickets for the littering deers around here, we might actually get somewhere.
Hey, there you go.
All right. All right, so I guess it's time to plead your case.
All right. Am I the asshole for not cooking breakfast for my niece and nephew? My 36 male sister, 34 female, moved into my house about 2 months ago with her 2 kids, 7 male, 4 female, after she ended a really bad relationship. I've always been an early-ish riser and like to get up and make myself some breakfast around 7 or 8 a.m. Nothing spectacular, just whatever I feel like that day. When my sister moved in, I realized quickly that she liked to sleep in. Some days she was up as late as 1 p.m. Some days she was up as late as 1 p.m. I gave her the benefit of the doubt since I knew how hard her breakup was for her. Since my sister slept so late daily, she wouldn't get up and take care of her kids. I got into a routine with my niece and nephew that basically whatever I cooked myself for breakfast, I'd make enough for them as well until the other morning. I woke up and had an urge to make huevos rancheros. The kids immediately started complaining that they didn't want that and wanted something different. I was nice and ended up making them pancakes since it's not their fault that their mom is really struggling. The next morning I was making breakfast potatoes and eggs, but all I heard was, "We don't want that, we want something different." So again, I obliged. Finally, after 3 mornings of my unwanted food critics getting a separate meal, I finally told them I'm no longer cooking 2 different meals for breakfast. If you don't like what I'm making, go ask your mom to get up and do it. So they went upstairs to wake her up, but she didn't come downstairs until after 1 p.m. The kids immediately started complaining that I refused to feed them, and my sister was pissed. She started in about how they need to be fed by a certain time and a bunch of other things that she said to try and intentionally hurt me. I snapped and told her, look, I know you're depressed, but wake up and take care of your fucking kids instead of expecting me to do it. She got quiet after that and is still giving me the cold shoulder, but I know she's expecting me to apologize. Sorry this was long-winded, but let me have it. Am I the asshole? I mean, I don't know what else you say in that situation. Like, I appreciate that that your sister is going through a rough breakup. I understand that, the kids may want different things for breakfast than you're used to making or should have to make because you're not there to be their babysitter. Like, you've let them move in, you're supposed to be helping them out. It's a lot more to ask you to just cater to her kids. Like, you have a life. This is supposed to be a favor, not a new life permanent arrangement to take care of her kids. Now, if it were that you were adopting her kids, fostering her kids, doing something like that, then you would have a problem. But otherwise, like, no, get out of bed, cook your kids breakfast. It's the thing you do.
Either that or, I don't know, find out what their cereals are and here's the cereals. You don't like
Again,
my...
not your responsibility. Mom needs to get out of bed and figure out what their cereals are and buy them, stock them. Here's your cereal.
Exactly. Or make options available. Yeah. And it's kind of like we've been having, we have 4 adults in this house. We all don't eat the same things. He would not touch I'm quite sure you would not be interested in my tuna fish pasta ball. There's actually cabbage, a fake pasta ball.
Bad enough I had to be in the same house while you ate it.
It was delicious.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Warm cat food in a bowl. That's what that looked like. Warm cat food in a bowl.
No, I'm talking about the night before.
The one where you took like the cabbage and the tuna salad and like what was that?
Okay. I have made a few things here. Okay. Yeah. What you're talking about is my cabbage soup bowl.
Yeah, I saw that one. Yeah.
Yeah, the cabbage. I took cabbage, threw it in a skillet, threw in the last of the tuna salad and the rest of the spaghetti sauce, and stirred it up and fried it. And then I threw an egg on top of it.
Sauce. Spaghetti sauce. Yeah.
Yes. Although I should try the
No interest. No interest.
Yeah.
No.
What I was talking about is the more simpler one where I took the shredded cabbage and put tuna fish salad on it because he doesn't like tuna fish salad.
Yeah. Well, no. So no. Actually, my real legitimate question on that one was who's pregnant?
I don't know.
Like, someone's pregnant. Someone pregnant. That's what we figured out when you do these things. Is someone's going to come through in the next week and tell you they're pregnant.
Yeah. And I'm going to be like, really? I don't know where that came
from. I don't know how I could have known.
No. Damn, what's my job? If it's that one couple, I'm going to lose it again. Like, god damn, they already have a herd of kindergartners.
I know, right? That's what it feels like. It's like a little herd of kindergartners going bad.
There's like 9.
A little elementary school herd is what it is.
Right. But no, like, I would not be cooking 2 breakfasts. I don't cook 2 dinners. They have an option. Whatever I'm cooking, or they can get a peanut butter sandwich, or they can get a pizza.
I mean,
and breakfast, forget that. I don't cook him breakfast.
Yeah. So I'm going with not the asshole on this one. I think you're well within your rights on this.
I'm going not the asshole, even close to even, not even the asshole.
Hmm? All right.
Exactly. Mom's choice to have kids, not her sister wants to do it. Not like her sister wants to do it. Exactly. Now, if it's make extra, you can always make extra. But cook a whole separate hot breakfast that the kids will, oh, I don't want that. Especially when you don't even try it. Like, that pisses me off.
Well, but I mean, there's some things that's advanced for like a 4-year-old and a 7.
A 7-year-old should be able to eat a frittata.
Okay.
Like, I don't know when children started, you started cooking separate meals for children.
Okay.
But anyhow. All right. So then we'll head over to Ask A Bros. Weirdly, we're talking about divorce. Now, this is a subject I never thought we would be talking about, but let's go.
All right. Well, sorry, I'm having to get it up. It takes a second. So this one is Flair 35 to 39. Husband and I split up today, feeling lost how to plan the next few weeks. As the title says, writing this from a hotel room. Together for 10, married for almost 2, lived together with 2 cats. About half a year ago, I flagged that I was feeling disconnected because of a lack of sex. We didn't do it for a few years. Changing hobbies and values, we were going to couples therapy, and he's been super supportive and proactive, but I felt like I had to compromise a lot to keep things afloat, and it's taken a huge toll on my mental health this year. Despite my therapy, I was struggling to keep up with relationship work and my own mental health, OCD, anxiety. I admitted today that I just don't feel like I can find the energy to give this relationship anymore, and I can't show up and be the husband that he deserves. So we decided it's best if we split and just live totally separate for the meantime. We agreed to check in next week, but I'll be the one living elsewhere at the moment. I know there's a slim chance that the distance can bring us back together, but I've felt totally consumed by our relationship problems for a long time and need to breathe. My friends have been extremely supportive today and have all offered their couches, but I have no idea what I'm doing. I feel a mixture of pure terror and total relief today. I'm not sure who to stay with, if I should apartment hunt yet. Super difficult to find a place in my city. I also started an amazing job last month, but it's a 6-month trial period. I'm not sure if I should tell my manager tomorrow. Sorry for the rambling. Any practical advice to survive the weeks ahead would be appreciated.
First of all, you go immediately apartment hunting, trailer hunting, house hunting, whatever. Secondly, you make a list of everything that's your assets and get them out of there. Thirdly, begin hunting a divorce lawyer.
I mean, I don't think this is coming. Like, it sounds like you're done.
Yeah.
And even if you're not, it has never hurt anyone to be prepared to be done.
Right.
And what I mean by that is literally the kind of things that Aeson's saying is get all your ducks in a row. Do not expect this to be amicable. Do not expect this to be kind. Expect that the more time you let pass,
right,
the uglier this is going to get before you realize, splat, you've been hit by the divorce train.
Mm-hmm.
That they already had a lawyer lined up. They were already going through the assets. He was already making money moves. He was already doing stuff that would set him up well without being at all concerned for how this turns out for you. Meanwhile,
right.
smile and bait you along. Oh, yeah, we can see where we are in 6 months.
Right.
In 6 months, you're probably going to have a process server. knock on your hotel room door, and you're going to have a very rude awakening.
Right.
So.
And I would immediately begin changing passwords, changing accounts, like start locking stuff down. Withdraw half of the money out of your any joint accounts you have and place it into your own independent account.
Well, the most important part is go ahead, see the lawyer, find out what specifically you need to do. Because there are certain areas that have issues with pulling out cash or pulling money like that. So you do have to watch some of the things you're doing. It can set off red flags later and inadvertently make it look like you were hiding money or doing something when that totally wasn't the case.
Well, you know he's already got money sitting somewhere.
Possibly. But you really don't want to muddy the waters and go do the exact same thing.
Right.
So, I mean, everyone hopes for an amicable divorce. When you look at it statistically, most people don't have one.
No.
It's a bloodbath. It sucks that it's a bloodbath. It sucks that people can't just be like, okay, this didn't work.
Right.
Let's calmly dissolve this in a way that makes sense.
Right.
Sometimes the real problem in some relationships is that getting them to agree on what makes sense is near impossible.
Right.
And that kind of fed into, it's kind of interesting sometimes that I think some people learn what everyone else knew about them as a couple when they start talking about the divorce, and it's like, yeah.
Right.
Like, you expected otherwise? Like, have you not met your ex?
Yeah.
Like, hello? No, that wasn't going to go smoothly. No, they were going to have unrealistic expectations. No.
Right.
Like, you know, I found it interesting a couple of times where it's like they were where either both halves of a couple or at least one half of a couple was literally the last one to know what their relationship problems were. And how clearly everyone else saw them until they're like, what the hell?
Yeah.
Yeah.
How did you not see this?
Like, how are you with someone for 20 years and you didn't see it? How were you with someone for a decade and you didn't see it? Like, it's been there all along. This is like, you know, problems people have with your spouse. Like, yeah, I totally believe they went and like emptied your accounts. Does not surprise me. How did you not see it coming? Right.
How did you not balance it out? All right, so let's go check that poll. Ooh, this is a slot in the middle. 50% say yes, you're the asshole.
Ooh.
50% say no, you're not the asshole. So with the split vote, that means that you are yes, no, not the asshole.
No solid answer there. That's a total split.
Yeah, that calls dill pickle. All right, so with that, we do want to take a moment and thank our sponsors.
Absolutely. So, of course, we want to thank Beverly Walker, Mika G, Brenda, Joan Owen, Shannon C, Shannon D, Lady Gwendolyn, Caitlin Bell, Devin, and Bella. If you'd like to learn more about us, the show, or how you too can become a Patreon sponsor and receive all the wonderful benefits our baristas receive, please visit us at pcspnetwork.com.
Yes, and we will see you guys later. Bye, y'all.
Bye.